What's up, fellow adult collectors? Welcome to Civilian Collectibles. In this video, I'll be reviewing Lord Drakkon from Wave 3 of Hasbro's Power Rangers Lightning Collection. If this is the first time you're landing on my channel, my name is Seville, and here I like to discuss action figures and other collectibles based on my favorite movies, TV shows, and video games. Personally, I don't like to spend a whole lot of time on the package, so I will be freeing Lord Drakkon from his plastic prison pretty soon, but first, here's a quick shot of the barcode because he will be the hardest one to hunt down from this wave. And now, with the package out of the way, I'm going to give Lord Drakkon another forward rotation on the spinner, that way you can see him all the way around. For those who may not know, Lord Drakkon is an evil version of Tommy Oliver that was created in the Boom Studios comic book series. This version of Tommy is from a parallel universe in which he chose to stay at Rita's side as the evil Green Ranger even after the Sword of Darkness was destroyed. In an attempt to combat this, Zordon still created the White Ranger powers, but gave them to Jason instead. However, that led to the Green Ranger killing Jason and taking the White Ranger powers on top of the Green Ranger powers, leading to the Shattered Grid storyline, in which case Lord Drakkon is attempting to take over the entire Power Rangers multiverse. As a way to advertise this story, Jason David Frank himself put on the suit for a live-action trailer. With the success and popularity of that story, it was later adapted for the Power Rangers video game, Battle for the Grid. And now, Lord Drakkon has officially made his way to the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. Now, getting into the review, let's take a good up and down as well as front and back look at this figure. The primary body sculpt and engineering has been carried forward from the previous Lightning Collection figures. However, they've obviously added all the details to make this specifically Lord Drakkon. Oddly enough, while I was crafting this review, Hasbro just happened to put out a behind-the-scenes video showing the creation of this figure. The artists were shown drawing inspiration from both the comic book and the live-action trailer. So far, the results of that technique seems to have turned out great. The sculpt of both the helmet and the shield are nearly perfect. Based on previous problems with paint slop in this line, I was a little bit worried about how this one would turn out. However, at least on mine, there are no big sloppy errors. While I do think that the separation between the green and gold colors on the shield and other places could have been a little bit cleaner, it's not so much to really complain about. Another great piece of the figure is the Unmasked civilian head sculpt. I do believe that this is a prime example of one of the better face sculpts in the line so far. It definitely captures the older and more rugged appearance of Jason David Frank in that live-action trailer, especially when you compare it with the younger head sculpt that came with the Green and White Rangers. Speaking of which, now let's see how Drakkon compares to both of those figures. As I stated earlier, Drakkon does repeat a lot of parts from those figures. The only items that are totally new are the helmet, the shield, the belt, the boots, and the gloves. But in the end, that's really all you need to separate Lord Drakkon from the rest of the Mighty Morphin figures. With Wave 3 now available, the Mighty Morphin portion of the Lightning Collection now includes the Armored Black Ranger, Green, Pink, White, and Red. Since I no longer see the need to do a full video review of either the Red or Black Ranger, I'm just going to take a moment here to drop a few notes about them. Like Lord Drakkon, these two figures do reuse a lot of body parts, especially the Red Ranger since we already had the SDCZ version back in the summer. So between the two right here, the only real new thing is the Black Ranger's helmet. It does look really good, so I am looking forward to the eventual release of the basic version. Unfortunately, the Red Ranger's helmet is a bit disappointing because there should be some white paint in there around the silver teeth. Along with that, there should also be a white line surrounding the entirety of the visor. When it comes to civilian head sculpts, I do think that the Red Ranger looks pretty close to Austin St. John, but when it comes to the Black Ranger, I have no idea what they're referencing because that looks nothing like Walter Jones. However, their weapons do look really good. The sculpts and paint jobs are very nice on both. And if you've seen the SDC Jason 2-pack, you know that came with a full set of the weapons that connect together to form the Power Blaster. These weapons with the individual releases are the same pieces, therefore they also all combine together. So, when the Yellow and Blue Rangers are released in Waves 4 and 5, you will be able to make the entire Power Blaster. And with all that said, let's get back to Lord Drakkon. Going towards the final stretch of this video, I'm going to go ahead and run through his articulation real quick, but I'll leave the Red Ranger on the screen, that way you can see what might be hindered by the shield and other parts of the armor. The head does have a little bit of movement up and down, as well as forward rotation side to side. The shoulders can spin all the way around, as well as move outward, plus there are butterfly joints for increased forward and back motion. The biceps do have forward rotation, and the elbows are double jointed, but because of Lord Drakkon's bigger gloves, the elbows and the wrist are a bit more restricted. The torso does have the ab crunch as well as the upper tornado ball joint for full rotation, and since the shield is an additional piece on top of the main sculpt, it's not really a hindrance here at all. And finally, moving down to the legs, it is pretty standard for the Lightning Collection, with joints at the hips, thighs, the double knees, the top of the boot, as well as the full motion ankle pivot. So with all that said, it's time to run Lord Drakkon through my guidelines for a complete and fair review. While the sculpt isn't entirely new, it does use enough unique parts to specifically identify this character. In turn, it is highly detailed and incredibly accurate. It is in scale with the rest of the line, it does have more than 20 points of articulation, and it balances really well. It does come with several accessories, and the roughly $20 price point is fair for the Lightning Collection. Luckily, my particular figure did not have any quality control issues, but he was pretty hard to get a hold of. Like Lord Zed in Wave 1, Lord Drakkon only comes one per case in Wave 3, leading to a 9 out of 10 star rating, meaning it is outstanding and one of the best of the year. Therefore, I do highly recommend adding this Lord Drakkon figure to your Lightning Collection. Thank you guys for watching, and if you like this video,
get over here!
And subscribe to Civilian Collectibles.